Kerry from Mobilates, and lovely to have you here today. We're going to do half an hour of really gentle exercise to music, Pilates inspired, really nice, soft sort of movements, and you can do it standing, you can do it sitting, and we will move down to a lying surface, but it doesn't have to be the floor. It can be sofa or bed. I try and keep the movements fairly confined so that you can do it in a smaller space. So let's start. If you're standing, take your legs slightly wider than that sort of inner hip width, just so you've got a little bit more support. And if you're sitting, your legs are in an L shape, feet flat on the ground facing forwards, a little bit of space behind you. You need a bit of space to the side because our arms are going to go up and down. I'm always worried about knocking my plant off. If you're here, do pop in and say hello. Jean has already done so. Lovely to see you there, Jean. You can tell me whereabouts you are in the country. I'm in Exeter, Devon. And we're just going to breathe in and out. As we breathe in, our arms go up. As we breathe out, they go down. And you can keep your head looking forwards if you get a little bit dizzy, or you can move your head up with the arms, just looking up slightly. Sending the eyes up is the most important thing. Who else have we got there? Irene. Hiya, Irene. My lovely regulars. Always good to see your names pop up. And you might notice the light is a little bit brighter today. Sunshine and showers in Devon. Certainly welcoming the sunshine and a bit more light. Going to change the breath slightly. So this time we're going to go and breathe in, a bit like you're sniffing a flower. So, and then one breath out. In again. And one slow breath out. One more, in. Oh, it was a big one. And breathe it out slow. Wiggle your fingers. Lovely. Right, I'm going to bring in feet slightly. Who's that? Lisa, just in time. Some pelvic tilts. So I brought my feet in slightly. If you're not sure, bring your legs together. Take your heels out and your toes forward. If you have a look down, it's about the gap of a book between your feet, whether you're standing or sitting. I'm going to put a hand on my belly and a hand on my back, and we're just going to tighten the belly here like it's against a cold wet top. It's just like, oh, it's a bit wet. Just makes you retract slightly and tighten those muscles, and then we're going to use that tightening there just to get really small pelvic tilts. You can see my bottom just tucks under a little, but it's not the bottom muscles, that's still really soft. It's the belly muscles. It just gets us clued into how the spine's doing. I hope you're all feeling okay. And there's always lots and lots of ways to change exercises if something is uncomfortable or you're tired. Lots of modifications. That's what, Mobilates, that's what we do all the time. And then make it super small, hardly any movement at all. Find that in-between place. So you neither want to have your arch here and your bottom right stuck out, and you don't want to be gripping and tucked underneath. You want to be somewhere in between, Goldilocks sort of place. Right, from here, we're going to go into a soft flex and extension. Just bend and lean back. So softly rounding over, softly, just leaning back slightly. This is what it looks like from the front. It's just the very top of your spine. So the lower spine isn't doing anything extra at the moment. It's almost like we're going into a fetal position, and then we're just opening up towards the light. Very spring-like, isn't it? Just that opening towards a bit of light. And if you're sitting, looks like this, and you could make this smaller so you're hardly bending at all, and you could open up more, or you could bend more and open up less. Just make it work for you and keep it moving. and breathe. Don't forget to breathe. Last one. I'm going to come up to standing. And then we're going to take our chins back a little. When we do that, if I go from a little bit of a slump to my chin back, you can see length on the neck. And imagine I've just pulled up the back of your head, this beautiful invisible string. I think it's one of my hairs. Just pulled you up a little taller. From that place, we're just going to turn slowly from one side to another. Leave this area here, your collarbone, just feel like it's opening out, but it's not going in, right? It's not moving with you. It's just staying there and just your head's moving. Well, a little nod down with the nose. I always feel like the tip of my nose is drawing a horizontal line right across, and then a little tiny line down, up, across, and down. Sometimes these little visualizations just help concentrate your movement. But you can even close your eyes if it feels safe to do this. Just makes it a little bit more mindful. And then bring it back to the center. And then we'll start some small shoulder rolls. And as this is mindful mobility, mindfulness is very much about sort of observing without judgment. So if you were doing that sort of mindful meditation, that focus without judging yourself and your actions is the key part of it. And it's the same with moving mindfully. Don't think about how bad or good you are at it, or that you want to push it and make it this or make it that. Just take it where it is right now, where it is today. We're going to do alternate rolls. Let your upper body twist, let your head move and look round over that shoulder. And as you're concentrating on the shoulders going back, you might be getting a little sort of circular movement going with your hand on the side of your thigh. Just going to show you sitting. Might be the chair's getting a bit of the circular movement here as well. Hope the chair appreciates it. Last ones. And then take it down. Let's go to the feet. Check in. Mine have already moved out, so I'm going to move them forwards. Lift your toes up and down. I've got my toe socks on. I'm just going to give you a little wavy wiggle of my toes. Now, toes are one of those things that it feels like they're a long way from your brain. And the toes don't always do what we want them to do. We are trying to lift them all up at the moment. I'm not going to get you into lifting one up. I'll save that for another day. Just giving that little bit of movement so the toes are coming towards you. That's it. And spreading them out. Let's do the same with the wrists and fingers. So as the hands are doing it, the feet are doing it, but the feet are alternating and the hands are both together. I'm just bringing them a bit closer so you can see. And just get whatever movement you can. I'm trying to spread the fingers and bend, flex them over so they're going that way, and then pulling them back. And it can get quite tight. Mine definitely do. That's it. And then just let everything loosen off a little bit. And then pull back here. Again, that feeling, something cold is just coming towards you here. So it just tightens you up. Tighten your legs a little bit. And I'll show you the sitting version first. We're just going to go forwards and backwards. So the weight comes onto my toes. I'm trying not to scrunch them. And then back on my heels. This is it from the side. And then if you're sitting, hinge forwards a little and back. And use your feet at the same time so you can push into them to take you back. You need this tightness here just to control. And your back, stay straight. Your hands, they could be resting here. They can be touching the side of your chair. And it can be a super small movement. And then pause, just check, all nice and still. Let's move our feet to the outside and inside. So just Really tune into that sensation on the outside of your feet. We often do a lot of balance work, but to be honest, your feet are key to your balance work, whether you're sitting or standing. And if you've got neuropathy in your feet, so it's really hard to feel sensations, or it's painful, or you've got anything going on that's just uncomfortable with your feet, toes, ankles, things along the arch here. And we're going to go around in circles. If you're sitting, it's the same, but you're doing that little pivot here on the chair. Feel that movement going around the bumpy bits of your sitting bones. And then pause and take it the other way. That's it. And then, where are we going next? Oh yeah, a little bit of rotation. So if you're sitting, slide your hands along your thighs and get a little bit of rotation, keeping your knees with that gap so they're not collapsing in. If you're standing, just letting your arms have a little flop round, just starting to curl my hands outwards, turn the palms out. As I do that, let the knees move, let the feet move. And if you're sitting, start with the hands as well, just turning the palms out like you want to show them to the opposite walls. That's it. And then pause. Your feet might be a little bit wider for that. Doesn't matter, that's okay. Going to reach up, like trying to reach something off a high shelf. Really trying to stretch along the sides. That's it. And then take it out to the other side. And try and keep it above your waist, which if you're sitting, you've got the advantage of the resistance of the chair. If you're standing, you have to keep this bit still and let the top bit move over as isolation, because you can see this bit's moving, but this bit's staying where it is. Whoa, it's a bit like belly dancing. Reaching out and then reaching out the other way. And then let's take it to a little bit of balance work. So we're going to first take the weight into one leg and just start to turn this leg out. So that foot's still that same distance, and I'm just trying to turn it out here in the hip. So the hips stay forwards, they're not twisting or doing any of that. And that leg turns out. If you're sitting, same movement, this leg's still. And then we're going to hold it. Bring that foot closer. Could be the toe balances on the floor. It could be you straighten that leg a bit more and put the foot on it. It depends where it's comfortable for you when you're sitting. If you're standing, you might be like this, and that's already making you wobble. It might be you can take that foot a bit closer so it's touching the inside of this leg. It might be you can take the foot off the floor, take your arms out. It should help your balance. Pull in here, think tall. Oh, I think I grew. And then from this position, just soften the arms. Turn the palms up, palms down. Don't worry about a little bit of wobble. I really welcome it. It shows you're challenging yourselves. Oh, take it down. And just let your legs either soften like that, or just have a little flop in and out. And then the other leg's going to stabilize this leg. It's going to rotate out the hip. This is a bit like if you do yoga, a tree balance. So it's just taking ourselves gently into that sort of rotation that we need in the hip, going outwards, holding it, and bringing the foot closer to the supporting leg. Maybe taking the foot off the floor. Taking the arms out to the side, and then turn a palm up, the other palm, turn it down, and you might even start to get a bit of a wave in the arms, turning the palms all around. Whatever works. If your shoulders don't like too much movement, keep it small, just keep those palms going up and down. or just holding them, a little bit of movement like that. And then take it down. Nice. We're going to go into some roll downs. So I'm going to take legs wider today. If you like a roll down where your spine bends and curves, that's the first one I'm going to do. So I've got my feet, I'm going to have them either side of my mat, so they're at least the width of my mat. My feet are turned out a little bit. Just tucking my chin in so I'm nice and long here. And then it's like I'm rolling my head down the body. I'm just going to soften my knees a little. And let my arms just fall. Now you can just hold it here. Get a lovely dangle for the shoulders, for the neck. Or it might be you go a little bit lower. You'll reach a point where you won't want to go any further. Might be lower, might be completely touching the floor, any of those places. And then when you're ready, take a breath in. And as you breathe out, your weight is still in your toes rather than your heels. And as you breathe out, just pulling and scooping this area here to bring you up. And you slowly, slowly stack everything up until your head's right on top. Just take a moment. Now, if you don't like that, you can send your bottom back instead, almost like you're going to sit on a stool, straight back. Tuck your bottom under and keep that movement, keep that tucking under. And you can start to press upwards with your legs. Less strain on your lower back, that's nice for osteoporosis. We're going to do one more of whichever you're doing, and then we're going to go down on the mat. So I shall see you down there. You can take your time. That's the advantage of being at home. I'm just going to move the camera. So make your way down. A cushion would be really nice. Not for your head just yet. That's coming. But first, just let me move that chair. Just lying on your back, legs bent. Let's move the mat downwards a little. See, I've got my cushion ready there. Take your legs, put them together. Arms out, palms up. Now take your heels out and your toes forward. And just have a little sway. Just let everything have a little rock and settle into the surface that you're on. You don't need anything under your head because we're going to take our pelvis upwards in a minute and you don't want to have pressure going under your neck. Bring your palms down by your sides. Slide your feet closer to your bottom so they're really quite close. Legs have still got this little hip distance. We're going to take a breath in. Feel your chest, back ribs, side ribs all expand. And as you breathe out, we're going to take our pelvis straight up, straight off the floor. As we breathe in, it's going down. So normally we tuck under and we articulate. Not doing that today. Breath in. Breathe out, push through your feet, take your pelvis straight up and down. So this works the hamstrings a little harder and the glutes a little harder. So it's really good for leg strength. Have a little wriggle if you need it. Breath in. Breath out, push into your feet, press up. Now press that right foot harder. Like you're trying to push it through the mat and just let it relax. And then press the left foot harder and let it relax. And take it down, straight down. Little wiggle, little reset, breath in. Breathing out, take it straight up. Press the left foot in. So nothing changes here, this is exactly the same, but I'm really pressing that foot down. And let it release. And then press the other one down. It's amazing how much effort you can feel. No one can see what you're doing, but I know you're doing it. And then let it relax. Take it down. Little wiggle. Slightly different coming up. Breath in. Breath out, straight up. We're going to take the right heel, that's my heel here, just coming up. All this stays exactly the same. Try not to wiggle and wobble. Take that heel down, take your pelvis straight down, little sway. Breath in, breath out, up we go. Left foot's going this time. You can just about see a little click with it. You can see my knee raise, but this area stays the same. Take it down. Now take everything down. A little sway. Going up again, breath in. Breath out, up we go. Right heels up. Arms stretching down as if they're trying to touch your heels, so they're just hovering off the floor. Take your arms down, take your foot down, take your pelvis down. Little wriggle, breath in. Breath out, up we go. Left foot up. Hands and arms just hovering as if you're trying to touch your heels. Take the arms down, take the heel down, take your pelvis down, and then bring those legs nice and wide, either back of your thighs or on top of your shins, whichever, and just a little circling. Can even cross your ankles is quite nice, just very lightly crossed over. I haven't even got my ankles crossed, just touching my toes against the foot. I'm going to swap them over just for a bit of balance, and then, I'm going to try and go the other way. And then we're going to roll onto our sides. So the legs are going to be in this triangle sort of shape and together. So you can put them like that before you roll over, and then just roll over like that. Grab a pillow or a cushion. And we're just going to rest our head on it. And the elbow, well, that would be worrying if it was your ankle. Your elbow's cuddled in underneath, so you're almost like hugging your head. And we're trying to be in line, so head, back, bottom, and feet, the soles of your feet in line. And then this arm, just reaching forwards, and we're going to pull the elbow back. The legs stay together, but this elbow's reaching back. And I'm just letting the top bit of my body fall back a little bit. And then it's going to roll forwards. Reach forwards a little. And it's this opening bit that we're really interested in. So you don't need to go very far forward here, especially if it's uncomfortable on the shoulder. Think about this bit. You could even open your arm back. And if that feels too high, take it lower. This is nice, just taking it here and your hand on your hip. Just sliding. And pause. And then we're going to do something with the legs. So I'm going to straighten this arm out. This hand is just propping me up. I want to be right on my side. So I don't want to be leaning forwards. I don't want to be leaning back. I want to be really directly on my side. Put your hand on your hip and then imagine you're taking that hip downwards. And as you do that, you feel it goes from that sort of bottom sticking up here, sort of to the bottom going towards the feet. A little bit might pop up here, or you might feel a little pull as the direction's changed. And then watch my feet. It's a sort of Charleston. The foot comes up, the knees stay together. My foot's coming almost towards you. And then my knees are going to open. That bottom knee is staying down, it's pressing into the floor. And this top leg is doing all the movement. If I put my hand behind me, I'm trying not to roll back. I know it's very tempting to sort of roll back when the knees open there, but try and keep yourself right on your side. That's where you might need a hand here just to steady things. I'm just showing you how rigid this bit wants to be, and all the movement is here. That's it. Last one. And take it down. Bring that leg forwards. Give it a rub. You can let it flop. You You might want to stretch it. I want a bit of that. And then we need to do the other side. So you can roll away from me. It's fine. I won't be offended. I'm going to roll over to the other side. And we start with that sort of cuddled head position. Legs in this triangle, feet in line with our back of our bottom, our pelvis here, our shoulders and head. And this arm here, just reaching gently forwards and then pulling that elbow back. And letting your head just roll back with the cushion or pillow. And the top of your body's moving, but the bottom of your body, your knees and your feet, they stay where they are. Remember, this hand can go a bit lower. Oh, and do breathe. Promise me you're breathing. Last one of these. And then we're going to get right on our sides again. Hand on your hip or hand here. We're going to move that hip down. So this is me almost like sinking, almost like I'm at the beach and I'm just letting everything flop. And now I'm going to roll back onto my side. Just going to move my top back a little so you can see. And then take that hip down so it feels like, oh, I'm having to work a bit harder now. And then let's start with the knee opening. Feet together. And then that foot coming up, knees together. So it's like a sort of one-sided lying down, slow Charleston. The foot is slightly flat, slightly flexed, but I'm not really pulling my toes back towards me. All the movements in the hip. That's it. Definitely another good place to breathe. Anytime. And maybe a few more, one or two. And then just give it a rub. Does it need a stretch? Does it want to stretch out that way? Might be a little bit of a cycle sort of movement, like a little unicycle. And then we're going to take it. We've got a handy cushion now. And we can lie on that cushion. And we're going to stretch these areas here that we've just been working on. So I'm going to give you a couple of versions. So figure 4 type of a stretch is when you take your ankle and you put it on your knee. You're trying not to let the foot twist in. My foot easily starts turning towards me here. So I pull my toes back a little to stop the ankle to twisting a little bit. That ankle's a little bit prone to that on me. So I'm having to pull my toes towards me. And this knee here, you can give it a gentle little bouncy. So I wouldn't like to say push, I don't want you to force it, but just encourage. And you can move that foot a little closer if that feels comfortable. Some people even like to get their thigh, you let this leg flop. And that pulls it in a bit more. It depends what works for you. Lots of differences with this. Another alternative though, and this is if you haven't had a hip replacement, because we're going to go over the midline if you've had a hip replacement. That's not a good idea. Bend this knee and take it towards, instead of the same side, opposite shoulder. And that can give you a similar sort of feeling. It's not quite the same, but it's giving you a little bit of it. And it's nice to keep a bit of movement in this. And some breathing. And then take it down. Just let the legs have a very soft sway. And the other side. So bringing that ankle up first. Now that's what mine wants to do, is sort of twisting out that way. So I'm going to pull my toes towards my knee just to keep it in line. And then I'm just going to give this knee, oh, it's much tighter on this side for me. So that definitely, I don't want to force it. I'm just sort of letting it just have this very gentle bounce. That's it. Taking those slightly deeper breaths if you need to, moving the foot closer if you want a bit more sensation, or even doing that. And you can do it with your leggings if your hands won't reach. Sometimes people like to use a belt or like a stretchy band and put it here and hug it towards you. That can feel nice. And you can hold it still if you like. Just let that leg flop a little bit. It's all in this outer area. It's into the piriformis sort of area that some people get issues with. Very knotty sort of feeling. And then take it down. Take your legs a little bit wider. Just let them sway a little. Just dipping down. Your knees dipping down. Did a lot for the hips today. Get a little massage just on your lower back as you do this. Bring your feet in. Your legs are together. You can roll onto one side and we can push up. Sit however you want to sit. We'll just come up sitting tall. Just going to take our chin down, move to one side and then the other. And then take your arms out. Palms are out. Just going to take a big breath in and take our hands wherever they can go. Somewhere upwards. And bring it into your chest. Thank you, hips. Oh, they've worked hard today. Well done. You remember, you can drop me a line. I'll have a check on all the comments afterwards. Otherwise, I shall see you next week. Have a lovely, lovely week.